What's good? I'm Ryan.
I'm Nash. We are Hot Chelle Rae.
Coming at you with a crazy tour story. Now this one is a little rough around the edges, a little fuzzy at times because when you hear it, it's gonna make sense. But
if you took us into separate rooms and asked us to vote on the favorite tour story, we would all say this one. But if you said, vote on your drunkest personal story, I would also vote on this one.
So we were driving in a van and trailer. I'll never forget this. We were in Oklahoma. We were in the bus waiting to play. We were on a tour that did not have very many people.
We had 2 fans show up. Two
Didn't
fans.
have a lot. Didn't have a lot. And we're kind of like in the middle of nowhere, Oklahoma. What's it called? Rock Bottom?
The Observatory or Rock Bottom?
One of the two.
It wasn't good.
It wasn't good. Rock Bottom for this story is probably where we were.
No, that was San Antonio.
Yeah.
Same tour.
We had no
Also
fans.
terrible.
We had no fans. We're driving out to LA in a van and trailer, and meanwhile, Ian, our bass player at the time, was editing our music video by himself while we basically split the drive between 3 people.
For Bleed.
And we are just getting blackout every night because there's just like no fans, and we're just not feeling really great about music. Anyway, we go play this show, and there's a guy that came to see us that is buying us drinks like it's the end of the world.
This dude is like 6'2", 300 something pounds probably. Big boy.
Made of 80% Jaeger.
And the drinks there, the beer was free, the Patron was $6. Anything else was like $2 or $3. We got a $300 tab somehow.
So we were absolutely... Nash was hammered before we even took the stage. I remember this is one of my very last memories. He's drinking like vodka, Red Bulls and stuff like on stage. Basically like we end the show and he's like basically falls off the stage.
And the last thing I remember was stepping off the stage and then it was gone.
At this time, we're doing our own merch, right? So we go straight from there to like see the 11 people that came to the show and sell a couple t-shirts if we're lucky. And we were so drunk that I'm standing there at the merch table, and Ian has a glass of whiskey, or had, it's empty, and goes, "No more drink?" Smash! And just throws it down on the ground like a lunatic. And I'm like, oh man, we're gonna get kicked out of here for sure. And I look over at Nash, and I don't even know how to illustrate this to you, you'd have to be there, but Nash is doing this thing at the bar where he's just like, he's like holding the bar.
Here, I'll be the bar right here.
Like, he's literally like holding the bar like it's the only thing keeping him up, right? And I see him, and I start walking over to him, and he just goes, it just throws up all underneath the bar. And the bartender goes, "Hey, did you just throw up?" And he goes, "Nope."
Like a liar.
Like a liar. And so I'm freaking out. And then I go into like full angry mode because I all of a sudden decide that Ian, who's now asleep in the van because he passed out.
He was crying first.
Yeah, he was crying first because he missed his dog.
Yeah. He went to the van to cry for a while.
So he falls asleep crying. And then I am thinking everybody's goofing off. And if this happens to me, if I get drunk or like I start thinking people aren't working hard enough or something, I get real mad. So I was like, Ian, you know, wake the fuck up and edit this video right now. You've been sitting in the back of the van for 2 days.
Can you imagine what the video would have looked like if he had edited it?
And this whole time, Jamie is just like...
I think Jamie was scared to death.
He was in the van because he wasn't allowed...
He was scared to death of us.
He was too young.
Dying constantly because he'd never really gotten drunk, so he didn't know how good we were at throwing up under bars.
So Jamie's young enough at this point when we play a show, he's allowed in to play the show, and then he's immediately has to go sit in the van if it's a 21 and up show. So we're all absolutely trashed. Our tour manager is probably second guessing every decision he's made in his life.
Oh. He had to load the whole trailer by himself.
And we get back to the hotel, and is this when you decided to...
Yeah, I do this thing when I'm drunk. I want to prove that I'm not drunk. So I'd do something that you wouldn't ever do sober to show you how with it I am. And I saw the stairs of the hotel instead of the elevator like everyone else. I was like, yeah, I'm not drunk. I got this. And I just run up the stairs instead of the elevator. They find me trying my key card in every door
On the wrong
on
floor.
the wrong floor.
So
Would have never gotten
so
into my room.
finally, I get Nash back with Jamie, and Jamie's now on throw up watch. So Jamie's like just hanging out with Nash. He's just like smoking out his own hotel room, just like paranoidly watching Nash. And I'm like, where's Ian? So I go looking for Ian, and I find Ian sleeping on the floor outside of somebody else's hotel room. And honestly, I think I was the only one that night that like kind of made it out with like a little bit of a memory.
I just know that if I'm drunk enough where I don't want to go into IHOP, something is really, really wrong.
Really, really wrong.
But we
And-
survived.
But that night will live in infamy, because I remember right before we played that show, it was around Christmas time.
Ugh.
Because we're sitting in the van, we don't get any channels except what's locally on, and we just hear Bruce Springsteen going, "Santa Claus is coming to town," and I was just like,
Best vocal performance ever.
I was looking at Nash like, this is a terrible career choice for us. Like, what are we doing here?
Can't sound like that.
And the rest of it we don't remember, but that we do. Did you throw up?
Nope.
Nope.